Hi, my name is Julius. Today I am going to introduce you to Battery 4 by Native Instrument. I will talk about how you can easily layer samples without going too much in depth and how you can process your samples or your audio rather within Battery. And if there's time, I'll go through how you can easily send your audio out of Battery into your host DAW. On the left hand side of the interface here, you've got your library section, which allows you to select select kits, various type of kits. You can go through acoustic kits, you can go through analog, digital, urban, and vinyl kits. You can also load in samples. You load samples into the cell by just clicking and dragging them in like that. So then on the bottom section, you have the main section where you have your volume envelope and there is the pitch envelope. And each of these parameters could be adjusted as we want to kind of create that particular sound we're looking for. And there is also a pitch envelope, a velocity envelope, an emulation of certain engine types. You've got your vintage ones, which you can select from on the bottom here. You also have your filter section where you can cut out certain frequencies you don't want within the sound, and the compressor and sends, which allows you to add a bit of delay and reverb. We create a new kit by going on the drop down menu on the top here and go File, New, and you should get a new empty cell, a kit containing empty cells rather. These cells have got nothing in them at the moment. We can also choose to resize our cell by choosing the size of our cell, which in this case I've chosen 4x4, which is 16 cells altogether. And we easily drop samples in these cells by going on samples. In this case I'll go kick first, and yeah, that's a good one. It's a quick one. We're not doing anything extraordinary here. Snare, yeah, hi-hat, 2, and open hi-hat. I've got some MIDI information there, so we can just play that to hear what it sounds like. That's fine. So what I want to talk about is how you can layer samples, basically. I'll use this as an example for you. This is the hi-hat there, and I'm going to solo it by clicking on this little controller, if you can call it that. So we can hear the hi-hat. We can also mute that cell by clicking on the red one, so that will take off the hi-hat. So let's solo it. And what we want, if we look here, this is the MIDI length section, and this hi-hat is currently mapped to CS. It was D1 basically. It's currently mapped to D1. And what I want is to drag another sample there and map the same hi-hat to D1. But as we can see, that cell is been mapped to D2 already, but we can change that. So let's go through the hi-hat again. So at the moment, we've got this map to D1 and that's to D2. So what we want is to map this same cell to D1 so that each time that note is triggered, both cells will be triggered. So we select the cell first, and you can click on this MIDI line here and press D1 on your keyboard or MIDI controller, and it should update it for you. So as you can see there, that's changed to D1, and that's D1. So if I play the same loop again, you should see the two cells being triggered by the same note, as you can see. Then we can now go into each of these cells through the sample editor area and balance the level of one against the other. We can pan it a little bit as well to the right and tune that down a little bit. So when we listen to the kit again, so that's one way you can layer your samples. The other way is by actually dragging the sample into a particular cell. For this, I'm going to use the snare drum, for example. So I'll go onto the snare drum. There are different type of snares, and drag it into an empty space there. So that's the waveform for this particular sample there, and that's the other waveform. Each one of these samples could be adjusted. We can tail off the end and loop a particular region, and make the sounds actually sound like we want it. You've got all your usual editing tools here, which obviously I can't go into because of the time limit in this tutorial. But you can use the parameters here to change. As you can see, I'm tuning it down, or take it up a bit and turn the level down. You also got your velocity. You can map it to a range of keyboards, really set your root note there, but we're not going into that. That's how you can easily layer your samples. One is by going on your main section, selecting mapping two cells to one key so they're both triggered by one, and you can also drop several audio samples into your editor area there. The second thing I want to show you rather is your effects processor session. So here we've got the saturation, and we've got three types of saturation. We've got tape emulation there, and the classic, and also the drum. So when we turn on the snare drum again, for instance, I'll go on tape, add a bit of one to the low end, or cut off the low end a bit, and you can increase the gain if you want, and the output. You can also add a bit crusher on the lower 5 section here. So if I turn that on, you'll hear the difference straight away because it's reducing the sample quality of the audio being played currently. So that's how it is now. That's it being crushed. This is your resolution, and that's your sample rate. So if I want to reduce that even further and increase the sample rate, you can add a bit of noise if that's what you're looking for, and your output there. There is also the EQ sessions, which allows you to sculpt your sound a bit to how you want it. I turn the EQ on, and if I start playing now, you'll see it will almost sound like a kick drum rather, because currently it's got low pass on it, as you can hear. But let's change that. High pass, so basically cutting off the low end of the snare. You can go through the different types of high pass here. You also have your band pass pick, and you can go through the different ones like that. You can reduce the cutoff frequency, or you can increase it, and you can increase your resonance as well. Okay. But that sounds alright as it is now. You also have a compressor where you've got all your usual compressor, threshold, attack relays, makeup, and mix. This mix level allows you to balance between the dry signal and the compressed signal. So if we turn the compressor on there, you'll hear the difference straight away. And you can see compressing. You can change the ratio there and the output. So that's your effects section, and the last one I want to go into is the transient module, which is where you basically scope the attack of the audio signal plane. You can reduce the attack by turning it down, so that, or we can make it a faster attack also by increasing it. So when we put it back, it just puts a bit of weight to your full drum. Basically, you can get your drum so perfect. I mean, I've only got like a few sounds there. You can have a full kit there where each one of the cells can be manipulated to suit the desired sound you're looking for. And finally, when we go onto the master track here, by default, everything is routed to the master track. So when we play it, you can see everything coming out of the master track there. Well, we can sum up a number of cells and bust them to each one of these 4 buses within battery. For instance, the hi-hats, I can select both of them and just drag them there. So next time we play, you can see the hi-hats all coming out this bus, as you can see there. Another thing you can do is decide, okay, I want to route it out of battery. Once I finish my mix, I want to route them to an input within me in my DAW. So I just go on right click, direct out, stereo 3 and 4 in this case, and I'll just go into my audio track, enable button, audio from battery, and select the input you want, 3 and 4. And when I record arm it and select that track, you can see the audio coming through, as you can see there. For now, I will stop right here, and I'll be doing another tutorial, and hopefully I can go a bit more in depth